Hello and welcome to the commencement of Term 2. A somewhat different term in front of us, but I hope you have managed to relax and have some time with your family over the holidays. Perhaps like my family, you are able to connect online. I have three siblings in three different states, and we were able to talk mum and dad through a Skype family meeting, and it was interesting at the start, but we certainly got there in the end. Over the course of the holidays, we have created a number of resources that are available for our families to support them as we transition into our Learn at Home program for Term 2. Some of them are external facing on our school website, but most of the resources have been located on our parent portal. They've been written and developed and are targeted towards three different areas of the school: our ELC families, the Barbrick families, and of course our senior school students. On the screen are just some of the categories of which we've been able to develop resources. Most importantly, our Learn at Home programs and the technology that the girls will be using, and also our Wellbeing program as well. We are very mindful of the increase in screen time for our students of all ages, and also our teachers as well. So we have done a lot of work in preparing a wellbeing resource pack for the girls and also for the families as well. And here's just one sample of the pages that you'll be able to access. Our co-curricular program and sports programming in particular allows the girls to maintain their level of training, and certainly the cross-country season continues. Aidan Debonardi, our athletics and cross-country coach, has developed a training session for every week for the girls to undertake as well. Over the course of the holidays, I've had conversations with a number of our families, and what I'm very quickly learning is that different families have very different needs at this time. Some families are focusing wholly and solely on schoolwork and getting through maths and English in particular. Some families are focusing on their mental health and their well-being of all of their family members. Some families are focusing on the financial challenges that they face with some changes in their employment, immediate changes, which are causing a level of concern and worry and stress for them. We encourage those families to reach out to the school for a very private and confidential conversation in how we can assist and support the families through this period. So what I have understood is that different families have very different needs at this time, and as a school we are aware of this and we are supportive of all of these families. There is no real blueprint for what we're about to undertake this term, and so what I've been able to do over the holidays is to reach out to some colleagues leading schools abroad in New York, London, Toronto, Mexico and China. And we have, in a principals forum, been able to share our experiences and what are some of the common platforms that we are all experiencing no matter where our location is on the globe. One of the principals from the Dwight School in New York shared that, most schools that she was aware of started well in their online medium, but the pinch point occurred at week 5, and it was a real test of sustainability for students and staff and for families. And so we are thinking here at St Catherine's, how can we change things up in week 5? How can we, ease the burden of what we are all enduring across this school term? There was certainly an encouragement from the principals abroad to implement an assessment schedule, and this helped to maintain the standards for higher grades, but it also required a very delicate balance of empathy for the student situation and the teacher situation as well, with an attitude that the show must go on, and it's a very delicate balance, as you could imagine. Schools abroad have also found students, and girls in particular, are craving to be together, with the biggest gap in their lives, the lack of social connection, and for some, coronavirus claustrophobia, particularly for teenagers. Of particular concern in the conversations with these principals was the age group of from prep to year 3 and how we maintain a social connection for our children and, for our sake, girls this age. Over the course of the holidays, we've changed direction with this age group based on some of this information that I was receiving overseas, and we have pushed our MS Teams to all of their school-provided iPads so that our teachers can connect with the children or with the girls in these age groups, but we can also allow for some small group conversations as well. I'm not sure Annie in prep will be able to have 15 preps online at the same time, but maybe we can sort of do the smaller groups with those age groups. The other main lesson that came across from the principals abroad was the long and frustrating tail after the peak of COVID-19. And if you had a look at some of the data that's occurring in Melbourne, you would be of the understanding that we may have actually had our peak in Melbourne, of course, unless there's a second wave in a few weeks' time as we head into the winter months. What we are looking at, though, during this tail is a possibility of a staggered return to school in term 2, and this would be giving priority to our VCE classes and also to our 3 and 4-year-old children as well, and getting them back on campus as well. I've had some great conversations with our teaching staff over the holidays, and we remain very focused on the relationships and connection, and we see this as pivotal to the success of the program that we undertake in term 2. And I mean connection student to teacher and also student to student. As a school, we fully appreciate the social anchor point that schools provide students, and how do we continue to enable that in term 2. There is certainly an element of continuation of learning, and our Learn at Home programs are designed to continue with the full course of curriculum at a VCE level, with some adjustments for the younger year levels, with a focus on depth over breadth, and certainly that cognition and their thinking skills around evaluation, analysis, problem solving. For our VCE students, looking to be a very different year, and the Education Minister in Victoria announced that the exams would be later this year, so we're expecting them to be in December, and the GAT to be changed to a later date as well. We're expecting this to occur in October. I think for our VCE students, we will be focused on striking a balance of empathy, the advantage of the St Catherine's classroom, and certainly the dedication of our teachers, but also with an overarching principle of this is business as usual for these girls. These exams are not going away. They still will be occurring at the end of the year. Our students will have a range of teaching mediums that they will be expected to participate in. Some of their teaching will be a combination of face-to-face teaching, peer collaboration, and there's an element or a component of our MS Teams called Channels, which allows for some group work. And some lessons will be pre-filmed that the girls will view as homework, with discussion to then occur in their lesson time. Together, this is called a blended classroom model, and that is what we'll be aiming to achieve at St Catherine's. I'm certainly very aware of the St Catherine's advantage during this. We have relatively small class sizes compared to a number of other independent schools and also state schools. And I believe that this smaller class size will enable your daughters to be heard and will enable their learning to be very personalised as well. Some of the logistics for term 2 that I would like you as parents to be aware of: in the senior school, we have swapped our Mondays and Wednesdays, and this is to allow our assembly time and our wellbeing lesson to be placed together on a Wednesday afternoon, and this is to really ensure the girls get some break midweek. We would also like this time for the girls to connect socially outside of their online classroom. So it may be in their houses, it may be as a whole year level. But I'm acutely aware of this need to ensure the spirit of St Catherine's and the spirit of attending school is not diminished by this online platform that we're currently working in. I would also like to ensure that we create opportunity for our Year 12 captains and house captains and captains of co-curricular, that they also have a fulfilling year of leadership. And this also is in place for our Year 6 students as well, who are in leadership roles. In Year 7 to 12, our assessment schedule will continue. Every Friday, parents will receive an email from the heads of year that will have the assessment schedule for the following week. And I'm expecting this document to land on the fridge, so everyone is aware when you have someone in the house that may be undertaking a mathematics test. That would be a great time to remove siblings from their workstation, to ensure the family pet is perhaps somewhere else, and mobile phones have been placed on the kitchen bench. From a student wellbeing point of view, I think that great question, are you okay? And our house tutors in the senior school and the classroom teachers in the junior school will have an opportunity for some small conversations, small group conversations, just to ensure a weekly touch point with the girls, to check on their academic progress, their coping mechanisms in this online platform and their general wellbeing. And I think this is really essential as we transition through that pinch point of week 5, 6 and 7, because I think how they feel now might be quite different to how they feel in a few weeks' time. I encourage parents to communicate readily with the head of year and with the classroom teacher in the junior school about the challenges that your daughter might be experiencing, and if there's any evidence of disengagement that you are observing, and how we can work in partnership to ensure that we counter that level of disengagement. From a parent support angle, we are needing and wanting your feedback, and as such we will be sending out a weekly survey. It'll just be 4 very tightly worded questions, and I'm hoping that feedback from parents, students and staff will enable us to direct and redirect our way through term 2. Members of the educational leadership team will also host parent forums just to allow an avenue of parent feedback. Heads of year will continue with their phone calls to parents on a very personalised individual basis. I'm encouraging staff to conduct some parent webinars, and some of our Prep to Year 3 parents will have seen or participated in the Tech Talk conducted by John Talantis, our Director of ICT, on Saturday morning. I believe a VCE webinar will certainly be very worthwhile for our Year 11 and 12 parents as well. And we're also hoping to continue the social connection at St Catherine's. We have a father-daughter dinner planned for this term, and in May a mother-daughter lunch as well, and I hope that you can participate in both of those functions. I shared this somewhat amusing title for an article with our teaching staff this morning in our online staff day presentation. Coronavirus, why teachers are mountain goats. And mountain goats largely are quite an ugly animal, but they have some character traits that I think could be very much likened to teachers. Teachers by and large find new ways to do things, and we don't like to be blocked, and this is our day job. Teachers by and large are quite resilient. We think our way around problems. When a student doesn't understand something, we look for another solution or another way of explaining something. Lateral thinking is our friend, and teachers and school leaders are hardwired to not throw in the towel, and so I'm hoping that you will experience that from our teaching staff this term. Teachers also have a terrier-like tenacity. Our bone-deep, stubborn refusal to quit is a skill set that's likely to come in handy right now. Teachers deal in people. Our currency is relationships, and this is how we get amazing things done. And our families can turn to us for help, and we will not look away. And finally, teachers play the long game. Ours is not a quick win profession. Sometimes it can take months or years to see the impact of our work with a child or a family, and sometimes we never see it. But we know our actions affect people's lives and the choices that they make for years to come. And teachers are perfectly placed to offer a candle against the dark. It's a flame and it's unwavering. And we know this, and it certainly gives us strength. And we look forward to being able to provide a sense of strength and support to you as you navigate your way through term 2. I just thought I would highlight the tech support which is provided for all of our students. ICT help desk at stcatharines.net.au, and that can be for any technical support that your daughter might be requiring throughout this term. Finally, I encourage our families to be kind, to keep each other close, to lock arms with the school community, and in the end it will be patience, care and empathy that will see us through. And we look forward to seeing your daughters at school tomorrow.